Happy Canada Day to everyone out there. Now, for those of you who are tuning in on our regular Friday morning, it's a few days after Canada Day, but we are recording live on a beautiful... Mike, you see the weather out there? Oh my goodness. Mike, you know what? This is the weather where I go from chocolate to straight midnight. Like, this is when I start to cloak with the darkness. After 11 p.m., just eyes and teeth. Eyes and teeth, man. But now, for those of you who are like, hey, I'm not hearing Mike laughing, Mike's jovial laugh in the background. Well, guess what, guys? Mike made the mistake of leaving the extra cord for his microphone back in Niagara Falls. You see what, Mike? This is what happens when you rush and you forget to pack properly. So guess what, guys? You have 1 full hour of straight Brentt. I know. I apologize for those of you who hate this voice, but you know what? Deal with it. Deal with it, folks. And next week, when Mike remembers to bring his microphone cord, give him hell. Give him hell, guys. But, once again, want to wish everyone a, happy Canada Day. You know what, Mike? We're so fortunate to live in this beautiful country, man. Sometimes we take it for granted. Sometimes we don't realize how many opportunities are at our fingertips, how many chances we have, just the way of living, how good we have it up here. I mean, Mike, think of it. What other country in the world could we have a radio show? What other country in the world could we have a podcast? We would have to pay big bucks for this. So the fact that we could just do it, hey, you know what? That just shows we're blessed. We are blessed. And you know what, Mike? It's been a while. It's been quite a few weeks. My apologies to those who have been tuning in. They're like, hey, you know what? Where's that episode 48 of Hood's Goods? Where's Brentt? Where's Mike? Why aren't we getting our weekly dosage of the goods? So guys, I will have to own this one. I have been going through a rather tumultuous, patch of my life. And I mean, it has been difficult, but you know what? I am starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I decided, Mike was in town this weekend and I said, yeah, let's make it happen. Let's go out there. Let's record episode 48. Let's give the people what they've been missing. All 15 regular listeners. let's give them what they've been missing. And hey, you know what? I have now officially passed, a few episodes ago, episode 45, I believe it was. Yes. I talked about, a program that I was doing, and Mike, I'm in week 9. Actually, I just completed week 9. So I got three more programs or 3 more sessions left in the program. And, today I decided, hey, let's talk about some of those. We were talking about anti-abuse. And for those of you who have forgotten, we are part of the anti-abuse campaign. So guys, go out there and support it. Hurt no more. Support that campaign. Our friend of the program, Supreme Solid, aka T-Mac, aka the former fastest picker on night shift, aka I'm all out of AKAs. And his wife, Elaine, also known as Lil Bit Music. Lil Bit Music, interesting name there. But go out there and support them, support us, because we are also part of that foundation. And guys, just let it be known, if you're dealing with an abusive situation, if you're dealing with, whether you're the victim or you're the abuser, we can always learn from each other, and we can always try and help one another to, get out of that situation, or teach the abuser ways to not be so abusive. So you know what? I brought out there, Mike, I did research. And by research, I mean I brought the paper that was handed out to me in the program. So it wasn't extensive research, but hey, I brought it with me. So for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, if you see this paper in front of me, we are going to be going through all pieces of the pie or the wheel, however you want to. So there are 8 parts to it. Now, this is the violence side of it. So it talks about physical and sexual. So we're going to be going through that entire wheel throughout this episode. We're going to be hopefully, enlightening some people who may not even realize. Mike, did you realize using male privilege is abusive? Guys, for those of you can't hear him, but he shook his head no. I didn't even know male privilege because it's not something I've ever used. It's not something where it's like, oh yeah, you know what? Let me use the fact that I'm a man to dominate my woman, or to use that as a means of control. But that is actually a form of abuse. So you know what, guys? We're gonna get right into it. And by the way, we also have a brand new "What's up with that?" for those of you. Now, this is something I recently saw. I heard of it before, but now that I have physically seen it with my own eyes, I was baffled, Mike. I was dumbfounded. I was flabbergasted. I felt bamboozled. I felt screwed. But we are going to get right into the violence wheel. All right. So the first one that I want to touch on is using intimidation. And I'll mention the points underneath it. Making her afraid by using looks, actions, gestures. Smashing things. Destroying her property. Abusing pets. Even the pets get brought into it, man. What'd the dog ever do to you? What that cute dog ever do to you? Guys, stop picking on the Shih Tzus and the Chihuahuas out there, all right? They're cute little dogs, all right? Go out there and kick a pug if you want. Okay, don't kick any pugs. Dude, pugs are beautiful animals as well, dude. I'd kick a pug, okay? And also displaying weapons. So those are the points under using intimidation. I will say this. I've used some of these, I have made, others afraid by using looks, actions, and gestures. I've occasionally smashed a couple things. My thinking used to be, well, it's better that I smash something than I hurt the person. But you also have to realize that gesture, doing that, is going to intimidate that person, is going to instill fear within that person. And if this is someone you love, guys, we're not trying to make the ones we love fearful of us, I've never used weapons. I've never abused pets. Well, then again, I've never had pets to abuse. So maybe, no, that's not the reason why I've never abused a pet, all right? But yeah, you know what, guys? Do not destroy your partner's property. Do not use these tools as a means of scaring them, controlling them, making them do what you want. Because you know what? We have to respect the fact we are all individuals. Right, Mike? Nod yes. We're all individuals, and Mike is nodding his head yes. And so we have to respect the fact that, being individuals, we have our different ideals on life. We have our different values. We have our different perspectives. And, imposing your will on someone, especially doing it in a negative way, in a confrontational way or a scary way, is never the right way to go, guys. All right. So take it from me, take it from someone who has, like I said, I have been the abuser. I've also been abused, and I've had some of those things used against me, So guys, I speak from both ends of the book, and I also want to say, women, this isn't just for men out there. I know I read it saying, making her afraid, but no, women, the same goes for you. If you love your man, if you love the person that you're with, do not try and, use fear in order to, get them to do what you want. All right. Next piece of the pie, using emotional abuse. And the headings under that are putting her down, making her feel bad about herself, calling her names, making her think she's crazy, playing mind games, humiliating her, making her feel guilty. All right, for all those who have used all of those things, put your hand up. For those of you who can't see, my hand was just up. Man, you know what? It really is eye-opening when you start to delve into the different categories and you see like, wow, you know what? I did those things. Now, I'm not going to give reasons for why I did it. This is not about justifying why you do it. This is just about acknowledging the fact that it's wrong for you to do it. But yeah, I've done all those things, you know, and we have to realize, hey, you know what? I had to realize what is the end game? What am I achieving by doing these things? You know, am I uplifting that person? Because you know what? And I talked about this before. I used this phrase that I once heard, and it says, you know, treat a man as he is, and he'll stay as he is. Treat him as what he could be, and he'll become what he should be. So if I'm doing things to put her down, make her feel bad about herself, calling her names, humiliating her, and what? How am I uplifting her? How am I, you know, being part of the change in that toxic cycle? Because all I'm doing is continuing the same pattern. And if you're the person who's doing this, male or female, all you're doing is adding to the same pattern. So realize that, hey, you have the opportunity to break that cycle. You know, maybe that person may not realize that they're caught in their own toxic cycle and they have a hard time recognizing it and breaking it. Be the one that breaks the cycle. Don't add to it, because guess what? That then becomes your cycle, because you're in a relationship with this person. And how is that healthy for both parties involved, and how is that healthy for the relationship? You know, it's like, you know what, Mike, if I find out you're doing any of this stuff to Jonah, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. As beautiful as your mouth is, I will punch you in the mouth with love, Mike, with love. All right, our disclaimer for this episode: do not punch in the mouth and do not kick pugs. Okay. But yeah, you know what, guys? Break that cycle. Do not use emotional abuse to, you know, degrade your partner, to berate them, to bring them down. All right, uplift them. This is all about uplifting, Mike. This is we're about doing positive things from here on going forward. All right, the third piece of the pie: using isolation. And let me mention the different headings underneath it. Controlling what she does, who she sees and talks to, what she reads, where she goes, limiting her outside involvement, using jealousy to justify actions. Hey, Mike, let me take this time to say what up to our good friend, our friend of the show, Fuse Homer. He is tuning in live. I'm going to press wave. I'm going to wave to Fuse. Oh, I just pressed something wrong. Oh, there we go. What up, Fuse, man? It's good to see you, brother. I know it's been a long time. He's probably been wondering, yo, what happened to these guys, man? Fuse, I've been dealing with some stuff, been dealing with some drama, but you know what? I can almost see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you know we're back at it today, man. We're back at it, episode 48. Welcome aboard, Fuse. Good to see you, Mike. We gotta go to this guy's house. We gotta make that happen, man. You know, and Fuse, also I wanna invite you, because Mike, it's coming. The official second launch of the book is coming. I'm looking at late July, so later at the end of this month, early August. So, you know what? Stay tuned for that. Fuse, we want you to do the camera work for that. Because you know what, Mike? We're going to do a live episode with a live audience. Oh. We're going all out for the relaunch of the book, you know. Brand new look, brand new material in there. So we're going to do a full-on show right Actually, it's going to be at the same venue I did the original launch at. It's a nice place, you know. Hey, why not, you know? Nice hall, can fit a good amount of people. But yeah, we're going all out, Mike, and we're going to have all different types of people there, you know. So yeah. Getting back to the violence wheel. So using isolation. Now, Mike, I can actually say I never used this one. I never used anything in it because I always believed, you know what? Regardless of however you may feel about someone's family, someone's friends, they need that outlet in order to get. Sometimes you just need a friend to talk to and, just vent with, Sometimes you need a friend who can be compassionate towards how you're feeling. So I was never the guy who was like, no, you got to stay at home all day and you're not allowed to go anywhere. And nope, it's either you're watching the baby or you're sleeping, because I recognize the value in someone being able to be an individual, to have their own group of friends, or if you have mutual friends, be able to go out with those friends and not feel like they're trapped or like they're isolated away from their family members, away from their friends and those they love. Because what kind of life is that? Like, you know what, Mike? I love you like a brother, but I couldn't live with just you for the rest of my life, and vice versa. I love recording with this guy, but we would go stir crazy if we just sat in a room together for the next, 50 years, But, so guys, if you are a person who's in a relationship and you're using isolation, you're isolating your partner from their loved ones, from their friends, their family, stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. That's it, Respect the fact that especially if they knew these people before they knew you. That's got to be the most ridiculous thing. I want you to unfriend those people you've known for 20 years. I've only known you for 5. So my longtime friends, my family members, you don't want me hanging out with them, but you want me to respect the fact that you have friends. No, guys, do not do it, all right? It does. At the end of the day, think, does this make a healthy relationship? Does this help the person that I'm with? Does it help them emotionally? Does it help them mentally? Does it help them to maintain that level ground, And stop being controlling. Stop being, overbearing and obsessive, because that's not healthy at all. And, whether you're the person who is being isolated away from your friends or family, or you're the one who's doing, because imagine how much effort you got to put into isolating the person. Like, even when you go off to work, are you going to be like calling every 10 minutes? Hey, just calling to make sure you're still at home. You better know. Is that a car I heard in the background? Sounds like you're at the corner of Danforth and Eglinton. Get off that street, Imagine the effort you have to put into being the isolator, not just the one who's being isolated. You gotta put extra effort into doing the isolation. So, guys, that is not healthy. That is not a good way to live, And again, we are trying to uplift our partners, uplift the people that we're with. We're not trying to belittle them and control them. All right, so. To be honest, I can't say I can own any piece of that isolation pie, All right, but moving on to the next piece of the pie, Mike. Minimizing, denying, and blaming, and the different topics under that heading. Making light of the abuse and not taking her concerns about it seriously. Saying the abuse didn't happen. Shifting responsibility for abusive behavior. Saying she caused it. Put your hand up if you've done any or all of those. Hands up. I've done all of it. Yeah. I've done all of it, because this is part of the issue. Now, guys, I'm not trying to say there aren't reasons that you have maybe engaged in some of this behavior. It could very well be both people in the relationship are being abusive towards each other. You know, it's not necessarily a one-way street where, okay, the male is abusing the female or the female is abusing the male. It could be both parties involved are being abusive. You know, and Mike, let me take the time to say what up to Anthony Chloe Huey. Or I don't know if it's Anthony Chloe Huey. I think it's Chloe, though. I actually met this brother a few years ago. He actually came out to a book event that I was part of, and special things happen with that guy. So hope you're doing well, Anthony. Glad to see you join into the program. But yeah, you know what, guys? It could be a matter of both people are doing these things. All right. So I don't want guys to just feel like, oh man, this dude just getting down on the men today. No, this is about both people involved in the relationship, whether you're the abused or the abuser, or whether you're on both ends. You know, maybe you're the abused who's being an abuser as well. You know, so yeah, guys, do not downplay your responsibility in what's happening. You know, don't try to say, well, okay, I did this because she did that, or if you're a woman, don't try to say I did this because he did that. Because the fact, Mike, don't you remember that saying, 2 wrongs don't make a right? Mike's nodding yes. 2 wrongs do not make a right. So if both people in the relationship are doing the exact same thing, and it's wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't matter the reason for it. Do not try to justify it, because you know, it's that whole thing of, look, if you're pointing the finger at someone else, you ever hear that saying, oh, if you point the finger at someone, there's like 3 or 4 fingers pointing back at you. You know what, Mike? I'm going to test that theory. So if you point like this, look, 4 fingers are pointing back at you. But if you point like this, then 3 fingers are pointing back at you. What if you point like this? And no fingers are pointing back at you. The other person's to blame. No. All right, guys. So remember that, you know, we gotta, you know, acknowledge where we've been wrong. You know, you gotta start with yourself first, and then, you know, learn from your own mistakes, grow as an individual, and then, you know, maybe the other person in the relationship will see like, yo, you know what? I'm seeing growth right in front of my eyes. You know, he is showing me he's maturing, or she's showing me she's maturing. She is, you know, being an adult. She's, you know, or he's being an adult. Why am I still acting like this is high school? You know, and maybe that will then push them to say, I need to mature the way my partner is. I need to mature so that this relationship can get to a mature level. Because you know what, guys, in the grand scheme of life, and this is one thing I've noticed, a lot of the stuff that sometimes we argue about, when you look back on it after, you're just like, that was so minor. Like, in the grand scheme of life, that didn't even hit anything. That didn't even make the Richter scale, you know? And so it's like, in the heat of the moment, you lose sight of that sometimes. And, you know, like, I will say this for myself. I can be a stubborn person. I can be stubborn as a mule, Mike. And speaking of mules, let me say hello to the donkey that I met in Jamaica last year. What up, Coca-Cola? You ever Coca-Cola, Mike? Yes. That donkey was one colorful donkey. That owner had that donkey dressed to the tits, Mike. But yeah, you know, so own the fact that, hey, you know, some of these arguments that you're involved in at that time, they may be really insignificant, but it's just because sometimes we get caught up in our own heads, you know, and we're just like, you know, we have this sense of pride that, no, we can't back down. No, forget it. I am not gonna, you know, compromise to appease her, or I'm not gonna compromise to appease him. And we end up making a huge deal out of something that is so minor. And you know what? It is not, guys, once again, it is not healthy for the individuals involved, and it's not healthy for the relationship. So remember that. Keep the relation, and especially if you have children in there, think about your child having to see this stuff, you know? Even if you got a baby and, you know, the baby might be in the midst of it, don't feel that that child, just because they're very young, can't retain some of what they're seeing. Hey, they see mommy and daddy, arguing, bickering back and forth all the time. Don't feel that the child is not impacted, So yeah, you know what, guys? That's the first mic. That's the first half of the pie, So what we're going to do is we will take a quick commercial break. I know, Mike, it's been a while since they heard one of these commercials, man. It's been a while. So you know what, guys? We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will continue on with the second half of the pie. You guys are tuning into episode 48 on a beautiful Canada Day afternoon. 33 degrees out, Mike. 33 degrees Celsius, like I'm in Trinidad again. Except it's mad humid, and Trinidad's not as humid. So, like I said, I'm working on my Wesley Snipes. Going from brown to midnight. All right, guys, so we'll be back in a couple minutes. Stay tuned. Episode 48, Hood's Goods.
Sorry, folks. No more questions. We got to run.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Mike? Brent? One last question, please.
Okay, sure. One last question. One last question. But that's it.
So, you gave away a Nike Fuel Band to Ivana after she won the Best Friends Challenge against Corey. Does this mean Hood's Goods is now sponsored by Nike?
No. Hood's Goods is not sponsored by Nike.
But we're not sponsored by Nike. Make it that what you will.
Hood's Goods. We're not sponsored by Nike. Okay, welcome back. And I want to reply, bless up to my cousin Rudd back home. You know what, Rudd? I need you to come up here and give me one of them nice cuts, man. This guy can cut hair. You know what, Mike? He makes my hairline look like I was 15 years younger. But hope you're doing well, Rudd. Hope you and the wife and the family are all good. Definitely looking to come back maybe later this year. Hopefully the little man will be with me then. But yeah, definitely, bless up to you and the family, man. Glad you guys are able to tune in to episode 48 of Hood's Goods. And getting back into it, for those of you who are just, joining into the episode, we are going through violence in a relationship, and using physical as well as sexual, So guys, either way, it is not healthy for the relationship. And, so we're talking about not just violence, but abuse in the relationship. Because, they say violence, and usually when people hear violence, they think punch to the mouth, kick in the stomach or something. But abuse is, it can be verbal. Mike, economic abuse, and I will get to that later. That's in the second half of the pie. It could be using children. It could be isolating. It could be, emotional abuse, using intimidation. So there's a whole lot of different, pieces to the pie when it comes to abuse in a relationship. But getting into the second half of it, using children. So let's discuss the different headings under using children. Making her feel guilty about the children. Using the children to relay messages. Using visitation to harass her. Threatening to take the children away. Now, I will say this. I haven't done any of those things. For me, I always say, if two people come together and a beautiful child is born, that child should never be used as a means of, putting down or controlling the other person, and it's always, it's a shame when you have where, people put the child in the middle, man. You know what? That like, guys, think about the development of the child. Never mind, okay, because we're all, if you're old enough to have a child, you should be mature enough to make rational decisions involving that child. Think about, if you're trying, let's say you're a man trying to separate the child from his mother or from her mother, the child from their parent. how is that going to emotionally affect that child? All of a sudden, it's like, okay, they're used to seeing mommy and daddy together. All of a sudden, it's only daddy or it's only mommy. Like, think about the impact. And maybe when they're very young, they can't voice it. They can't say, at 6 months old, yo, daddy, why you take me from mommy? They can't voice it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't, start something subconsciously. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, I'm not seeing mommy anymore. I'm used to being breastfed by mommy. How come I'm just drinking formula and milk all the time now from a bottle? So guys, we gotta, if you have children in a relationship, and especially if they get older and to the point where it's like the child can now talk, and maybe it's a situation where it's like, okay, that child knows, okay, daddy's at work or something. And, mommy has taken the child from daddy. And all of a sudden it's like you have a situation where the child is calling daddy at work, just wanting to say hi. And it's like, okay, all of a sudden that puts daddy in a position. It's like where he misses his child. He's longing to see his child, and his child is being used as a tool of, bringing him down, because I have to imagine if you're like a parent, Mike, imagine this. You're a parent. You've been very close to your child, and all of a sudden it's like you get a call from work. You think it's this person, and then when you say hello, you hear that child's voice, and it's like you haven't seen this child in X number of months, or who knows, maybe X number of years, depending on how long the isolation between the parent and child has gone on. And you're supposed to be focused on work, and all of a sudden you hear your child's voice. How is that? Like that would just bring me down, man. Like that would just, destroy me inside, So guys, if you have children, do not use these children as a means of, controlling or bringing down, your partner, whether you're together with the person or whether you're separated from them. Do not use the child. It is not fair to the person who it's being done against, and it's not fair to the child. I mean, for me, that's the biggest thing. At least as adults, we have the coping skills to be able to hopefully deal with some of these things. We're better equipped for it than a young child, or even someone who's going through adolescence, or pre-adolescence. But do not use that child as a means of, controlling, or just a means of being abusive to your partner or your ex. Now, Mike, this is the next piece of the pie. Now, I briefly talked to you about it earlier, but I didn't even realize this was a thing because it's not something I've ever used, But guys, this is a form of abuse. Tune in there. Using male privilege. Could you believe that, Mike? Using male privilege. And these are the different topic or different headings under that topic. Treating her like a servant, making all the big decisions, acting like the quote-unquote master of the castle, being the one to define men's and women's roles. I've never been that guy. I was actually really surprised when I saw that on this wheel, because I've always been, even growing up just in my home, I never saw a situation where it's like, my dad, tried to use that against my mom. Well, I'm the man of the house and you gotta cook, or I'm the man of the house and you're not allowed to work and stuff. Like, if it happened, I never saw it, So always in any of my relationships, I never tried to put labels like that. Like, oh, well, she's the woman. She's got to cook dinner. She's the woman. When we have a child, she has to stay at home with the child. She's a woman. She's not allowed to go out to work. She's got to be the homemaker. For me, I was baffled when I saw that. I was like, there. But you know what? When you realize the way things were in the past, I mean, in the, what seems now like the ice ages, that was the mentality. Like, men, the man was the one to go out to work, bring home the money. The woman was the one to stay at home, take care of the kids, cook, clean, maintain the household. When the man came home from work, he didn't have to do any of those household chores. That was the woman's job. And if the woman didn't finish it, the man would get upset. But that's how it was. But for me, I've never had that mentality in any relationship I've been in. I've always felt like, you know what? If I treat the woman I'm with as equal, then it uplifts her. It makes her realize I respect her as a woman, and I respect the fact that we are on even ground. There is no I'm one up on you or you're one up on me. Let's work together to make sure that this relationship flourishes, to make sure this relationship blossoms into something amazing and spectacular. And hopefully, if things continue to go well, it develops into marriage, or it develops into to the point where we have children and we raise that family together. There's nothing wrong, because in any relationship, each individual is going to have strengths and weaknesses. So it's a matter of, okay, how can my strengths help maintain the balance in this relationship? How can her strengths help maintain that balance, so that, one person doesn't always feel like, oh, like I'm the weaker of the two. I'm the one who always has to give in. I'm the one who always has to compromise. He never listens to me. She never listens to me. It's always their way or no way. So guys, do not use, if you're one of these guys out there using male privilege to, abuse your partner, just stop it. They're not your servant. They should be someone that you love, that you respect. All right, but wouldn't you agree, Mike? Mm-hmm. Mike's nodding yes, and he even gave a mm-hmm. All right, so we just got a little extra there from Mike. And for those of you who, tuned in late, Mike is without a microphone today. Hey, Mike doesn't have a mic. Mike doesn't have a mic. He is a mic-less Mike. What a shame, Mike. So yeah, guys, do not use male privilege to control your partner or to get your way. And moving on to the next piece of the pie, using economic abuse. Economic abuse, Mike. Have you heard of this in your life? No. Yeah, you just said no. So these are the different topics under economic abuse. Preventing her from getting or keeping a job, making her ask for money, giving her an allowance, taking her money, not letting her know about or have any access to family income. Guys, once again, I will say this. A couple of those I think I can own. Now, preventing her from getting a job or that's just ridiculous. I believe every woman, every man should be allowed to, get and keep a job. Now, I guess at times I have made her ask for money, but it's difficult to explain. It's not that I was trying to be controlling or anything, but it's a matter of, okay, if this is the income and this is what, is coming in and this is what has to, be worked with to make sure the rent is paid and all the bills are taken care of. Sometimes if you're dealing with someone who maybe overspends, you feel the need that, hey, you know what, babe, limit it a little bit so that, we don't end up having to pay in the long run or in the short run. Taking her money, no, that's never. Why am I gonna take someone's money? Like that just seems like it's like, look, I'm not your parent, Yeah, and so yeah. I mean, I have at times, I guess made her ask for money because I want to make sure that the budget is being stuck to, but at the same time, it's not something where I use it as a means of controlling her. It's just a means of making sure, hey, you know what? When things need to be taken care of, the funds are there to take care of them. But you know what, guys? If you're one of these people, men or women, who are using any of these things to control your partner, to abuse your partner, I've always heard, especially from a man's side, the most difficult and sometimes embarrassing thing is if you're with a woman who makes more money than you. Because, we're, for the most part, men are, programmed, are trained to be the ones that bring the more money into the household. So there are those women who they're doing well in their careers, and hey, you know what? All the power to them. God bless them. And they're the ones who are using that money, as a means of holding down the man in the relationship. So you know what? This can go both ways, and like I've heard from guys who have been in that particular situation where it's really depressing, because you're raised, to where you should be the breadwinner, and instead your partner, your woman, is the one who's bringing in the extra bucks, and it makes you feel a little, deflated inside. You know what I mean, Mike? But yeah, guys, do not use economic abuse to control your partner. And Mike, we have reached the final piece of the pie. And the final one is using coercion and threats, making and or carrying out threats to do something to hurt her, threatening to leave her, to commit suicide, to report her to welfare, making her drop charges, making her do illegal things. Once again, that's not part of my MO. Especially, you know what, guys, if you're not happy in a relationship, and it's just not working, just leave it. Do not feel like your hands must be tied. I know sometimes it's difficult for me whenever I'm like leaving a relationship. The hardest part for me is always like, you get this comfort zone with that person. And even though, no relationship is ever going to be perfect, there are going to be peaks and valleys, but it's like you get that comfort level with them. And even though they may not be perfect for you, they may not be the best thing for you, you don't want to go through the struggle of meeting someone new, going through the whole process of learning who that person is as an individual, getting to know them. Then you start, the whole dating thing. Sometimes it's tedious to me, Mike. Sometimes I'm just like, why can't I just know everything right off the bat, But yeah, guys, do not use these things as a means of controlling your partner, because it's abusive. It puts this thought in their head, well, you know what? He threatened to do this, or she threatened to do this. What if the day they actually come through with these threats? They've threatened to kill themselves. What if I go off to work one day, I come home and dead body? How is that going to impact the person that is that you're in the relationship with? Or it's like, okay, if they're maybe an illegal immigrant or something, I'm going to report you. No, guys. These are things that, again, I want people to always remember. How is this benefiting the relationship? How is this helping to build things up? How is this helping to uplift your partner, to uplift the person you're with? And how does it ultimately benefit the relationship you're in? If you want a good, healthy relationship, then do good, healthy things to make sure that relationship stays strong and stays healthy. And you know what, Mike? That brings me to another wheel that I think we'll do next week, because that's the good wheel. Those are the things that you want to have in a relationship. So we've done the abusive side. Next week, we're going to do the positive wheel side. We're going to do the things that, hey, make it an equal, playing field in the relationship. And that's it, man. So I'm just going to read through those 8 headings again. So, first one, using intimidation. Emotional abuse is the second one. Third, using isolation. Fourth, minimizing, denying, and blaming. Fifth, using children. Sixth, using male privilege. Seventh, using economic abuse. And eighth, using coercion and threats. All right, so hey, so Mike, we just got a message from Fuse. He's going to check out the Caribbean Festival at Woodbine. All right, he says Sanchez, Iwayne, and Yami Bolo. All right. So hey guys, if you're interested in going down to the festival, Caribbean Festival, it's at Woodbine. All right. So and say hi to Fuse if you see him, and if you don't know what he looks like, well then don't worry about it. All right. So Fuse, enjoy your time. It was good seeing you, man. Like I said, I'll keep you posted on the official relaunch of the book. But yeah, guys. So that is our that's my talk about violence and abuse in a relationship. If you recognize that you're a person who is being violent or being the abuser, feel free to acknowledge it. Recognize the fact that you should it shouldn't be part of a relationship. It doesn't help to make a healthy relationship. And if you're the person who's being abused, do not be afraid to reach out for help. Do not be afraid to there are many hotlines out there. There are many resources that you can call, you can contact in order to get yourself out of that situation, or at least get assistance in dealing with the situation. So Mike, we are going to take one more commercial break, and then we will be back because I got a brand new "What's Up with That?" And it confused me when I saw it, Mike. It confused me. But we'll be right back, guys. This is episode 48, Hood's Goods. You know who I am. You know who Mike is. He is not. You can't hear him today. He is muted for the episode. Deal with it, Mike. We'll be right back, guys. Hang tight.
So, Brent, what's the name of your book again?
Straight Hood.
Oh, and who sponsors Straight Hood?
Straight Hood.
So, Straight Hood is sponsored by Straight Hood.
Yeah, that's right. Bookception. Whew, man. Mike, it is hot up in here. like, shoot, man. I'm used to Trini heat, but dang. It's hot when the back of your knees are sweating. It's hot. For me, that's the barometer of how hot is it. The back of my knees are sweating. That just sums it all up. But yeah, guys, welcome back. Episode 48, Hood's Goods. I know it's been like a few weeks. People have been wondering, what's up with Mike and Brent, man? I need that Hood's Goods. It's like I need that fix, man. So yes, we have come back to give you guys your weekly dosage. And getting into it, it's been a while, Mike. It's been a while since I've given them a brand new "What's up with that?" And so I got a doozy for you today, Mike. I got a doozy. Now, guys, for those of us who went to Mother Teresa Secondary Catholic School, that name, as long as it was beautiful. And, the school just ended it right. It just felt like, yes, I am in, this is how it should sound. This is how it should be. Mike, I just saw something that I'm going to sum it up in multiple words, Mike. It left me confused. It left me dazed. It baffled me. I was flabbergasted. I was dumbfounded. I was befuddled. Okay? Now, I was just on my way here, on my way to record this episode. Guess what school I happened to be passing by, Mike? Mother Teresa Secondary Catholic School, as I remember it, right? So the bus pulls up alongside it, and I start looking at that name. I'm like, Saint Mother Teresa Catholic Academy. Academy? What is going on, Mike? What's going on? I'm like, it didn't flow off the tongue, you know? It wasn't like Mother Teresa Secondary Catholic School. It was like St. Mother Teresa Catholic Academy. What's up with that? My voice just cracked and I didn't even mean for it to, Mike. That's how shocked I am by this name change. Why? Why did this? Why? That's all I can, like, why? It was such a beautiful name. You know, and I will say, okay, to the school's credit, to those who are currently running it, the school still looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. They've put some benches out front now, you know, so you can have a nice seat. It's shaded, you know, so the school still looks beautiful. But that academy, what are they trying to do? Who are we trying to be, Mike? You know, I leave academies for, like, you know, it's like police academy or, like, you know, something to not a school, not our school, Mike. Not the school where we first met all those years ago in band class when Mike was the bass and I was the percussionist. I wasn't just a drummer, Mike. I was a percussionist. I played the timpani. Mike. What happened to those days of, you know, Mother Teresa, MT, the Titans? I hope they're at least still called the Titans, you know, like if they change the Titans, like that's it. I'm disowning the school after that. But, you know, man, you know, the times are changing, Mike. The times are changing. You know, it's like what? 22 years ago is when we started high school. You believe that? 1996, man. Like, 22 years ago is when we started high school. Like, shoot, it doesn't even feel like it's been that long, you know? But yeah, you know what, guys? For those of you who don't believe it, Google it. Oh, that's the other thing, Mike. I Googled the name. It's got the name of the principal of the school. I didn't even, you know, back in those days, the days of, like, you know, Mr. Connor and Ms. Williams and Mr. McMorrow, you never see the principal's name on Google. I know, and I've never even been to that school in ages. Nadia Young is the principal right now. Like, you know, man, Google is all up in everyone's business, man. But yeah, guys, for those of you who don't believe and you just want to, you know, guys, the MT we knew it's no more. You know, I'm sure the core is still there, but the name is forever gone, guys. We are now an academy. It's like, what is this? The Academy Awards? Like, no, man, academy for a school? No. And that's all I got to say about that. That just made me say, what's up with that? That's it, you know? So, hey, you know what, man? Guys, we want to thank everyone. All those who chimed in on Facebook Live and all those who have been wondering, what is up? What's up with the dudes from Hood's Goods, man? Like, we haven't heard from them in a minute. Well, guys, we're back. We're back at it, Mike. And as the back of my knees are sweaty, you can guarantee we won't take a long break like that again. All right, so we're back at it. Like I said, had some stuff to deal with, but back in, you know, it's good to get back in the studio, you know, Mike? It's like, it's therapeutic. When you're going through some stuff, it's good to get in there and just talk. So, guys, I want to say, you know, a special thank you for all those regular listeners. Want to always, you know, acknowledge Knowledge Bookstore. You see that? I acknowledge Knowledge Bookstore. So, for those of you who want to go check them out, they are at, what's that address, Mike? 179 Queen Street West. Go check it out if you're in the Brampton, Ontario area. Tell them Brent sent you. Tell them Mike sent you. Tell them you have sweaty knees and you need Kleenex or tissue. All right, but go check them out, guys. They're a beautiful place. You know, we're definitely gonna, you know, we've been saying it, but it's gonna happen. We will make a visit back to the communiversity once again. Say a special thank you to Fuse Homer I mean, as soon as we got back in, this guy was tuning in, man, you know? So guys, for those of you, like, again, if you're dealing with an abusive situation, if you're, you know, whether it's with your partner or whether, heck, it might just be like a family member even, you know? Guys, abuse across the board is never good. It's never healthy. So let's take care of it. Let's nip it in the butt. Let's get it out of our relationships. Let's get it out of, you know, let us not abuse those that we love and care about. All right. So if you guys want to continue to learn more about abuse, you know, next week I will be doing the good stuff, man. I'm going to be, you know, talking about the good things that we should have in a relationship. But of course, continue to support our Anti-Abuse Foundation. For those of you out there who know about it, it is the Hurt No More campaign. You know, check out what they're doing. What's it? Lil Bit Music, who is Supreme Solid's wife. She has a song out. Anyone who, you know, any proceeds raised from that song will go towards the foundation. 100%. It is a non-profit organization. All right. So guys, go out there, support that cause. You know, support positive things going on, man. You know, just because sometimes when you're surrounded by negativity, depending on the environment you're in, depending on, you know, the family you're in, you need something positive in your life to help balance it out. So guys, you know, inform yourselves, get the knowledge that you need, and, you know, just do something good, not just for yourself, but for your family, for your loved ones, and ultimately for society and the world. All right, so I will give Mike the opportunity to say goodbye. I will lean the mic over towards him. So, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. We want to say a special, you know, thank you to all those out there. And you know what, Mike? We want to say a special congratulations to Jonas and Candace for having their beautiful baby girl. Oh, man, so happy for you guys. I've seen pictures on Instagram and stuff. Adorable. Absolutely adorable. So, guys, congratulations. Hope you are enjoying parenthood. And that's all I got to say for this week, Mike. Say goodbye to the people.
All right, everybody. Thanks for a great show, and goodbye.
Later, guys. Have a good weekend.